With all the downshifts from Commander Masters, I finally wanted to take a swing at Pauper Bogles, a deck that I'm relatively familiar with, and see what I can do with all that glitters. A card that I still am kind of on the fence about, and I will say in this video you're going to see a full league and to good success. I would say the card is able to perform, but unlike Ethereal Armor, you're not able to get a combat trick out of this like First Strike. It does cost double the mana, and it does cost less than Ancestral Mask, but gives half the boost, and Ancestral Mask works in parallel, so you get +2/+2 for each enchantment on the battlefield. So there's a lot of restrictions to all that glitters, but the thing that you get out of it from a brewer's perspective is the artifact side of things. Regardless, from enchantments and Bogles, it's great. Enjoy the video, and I hope you're trying out something like all that glitters in your Pauper games. Starting things off by losing the die roll, never great. I mulligan once, I drop a card, but I see a Bogle that I have, and you know what, I'm feeling confident with it. I play my Forest, I play my Utopia Sprawl, because I think I'm gonna need to get out multiple cards at the same time, which I want to do. I see the Silver Bluff Bridge, and I originally think it's something like Affinity, but then I see a Snow-Covered Plains, and I'm like, all right, it's probably Ephemerate here. I probably should have just gotten out the creature first. That way I can try and duck as many cards underneath counterspells as I can. Thankfully, they don't have the double blue. I'm able to gain my next land, play all that glitters, Cartouche, play multiple cards out there. That way, if they have things that, you know, kind of make them do some tricky combat things, I have multiple creatures to make that work. They throw a lightning bolt at my creature for some reason, which is crazy, but I guess they want to get rid of the threats. They get rid of my all that glitters with the Dawnbringer Cleric. I still get a combat trick in there. I play my Ancestral Mask post combat to try and deal with the counterspell. They ultimately didn't have it, so it would have been just better to play it out anyway. They play the Archaeomancer and they get back Brainstorm, but this is not looking good for them. They're at 10 life. I got a 9/9 First Strike. They're gonna Brainstorm at end turn. Come on now, I'm gonna play Rancor and it's gonna get really good. I play the Abundant Growth. It gets really large. They already know the Rancor is in my hand, which is why they concede here, because I have enough enchantments to Rancor over. This next game is going to start off a little rough. If you look at the bottom of the screen, I mulligan 4 times. It's not looking that great, but I'm going to be the good sport that I am and do my best to play it out. So I'm going to play Snow-Covered Island. I got the Utopia Sprawl. It's not bad. I have 2 mana, right? Fortunately, though, my opponent's going to untap with the Dawnbringer Cleric. They're going to destroy that Sprawl, but at least I have the Abundant Growth. Maybe I can draw into some type of land and hopefully dodge the counterspell. I mean, they already have the 2 blues, so it's not looking great. I have the Abundant Growth. I find the plains, but unfortunately, I can't play my creature. I have to keep finding other things. They're brainstorming. They're putting away some of their worst cards, and they're finding the lands that they need. It's not really looking that great. Regardless, though, on my turn, I'm going to play a Silhana. It's going to get countered. At least I have the Scout as a backup, but even that Dawnbringer Cleric is really threatening, because if it gets blinked, I lose some of my stuff too. Now, I play the Scout, and they have the other counterspell for it, and I'm still trying to be a good sport about it. I honestly should have just conceded at this point, but I do get really close here. They play the Aurmancer, they return the counterspell to their hand. I do manage to draw another Scout. I put a Rancor on it, which is not bad, and now they don't know that I have the Ancestral Mask in hand, so I play the land. I try and bait the counterspell, which I do. I then play the Ancestral Match, which is fantastic. I go in for the attack. I think I'm super solid here. Unfortunately, though, the Destroy Evil comes out, and, well, let's just go to next round. It's getting a little too tricky for me to deal with any of this. Spoiler alert, you're gonna get real sick and tired of Jeskai Ephemerate this league, so just be aware. Regardless, I managed to get a keepable 7. I play the Scout, they play something tapped, I play the Ethereal Armor into the Rancor, and I'm off to the races already. I'm clear of a board wipe that they might play, but they managed to play the Dawnbringer Cleric to stop that. I get a little bit of kind of leeway here. I get the Abundant Growth, some redraw, I see the all that glitters, the Cartouche comes out, they have to tap out to ramp, which is great, because now I have some fantastic cards that I can throw out there to get massive with. Now I decided to split my threats. I put the all that glitters on my Vigilance creature, and I have a first striking trampling creature on the other side. Now they have to deal with multiple threats, not one creature. They couldn't find what they needed, and that split was exactly what I needed to do with all that glitters. We're coming off of a win going into this match number 2. I keep this one lander, which is a little iffy, but you know, I got the Utopia Sprawl. I can pick some things. I pick green with it, and next turn I can then start doing some things, maybe playing Abundant Growth, Gladecover, all that stuff. But I find the plains, which is great, enchant it with the Abundant Growth to keep redrawing. I then decide to play the Gladecover Scout, and we're doing good things with that spare mana. We play the Slippery Bogle, spread out our threats. If we have the ability to, not a lot of opponents are going to be able to deal with multiple sources of damage. We see that we're playing up against the Gates deck. However, in this case, we're now going to continue the Rampage and play the Ancestral Mask, because now we have 6 damage on board. We're going to keep swinging at them. We're going to keep the threats up high. I think this is a matchup that's relatively fine. If you can find the kind of trample effects early, that's exactly what you want. Now I'm going to spread myself out here. They're going to counter that, but that's great because the all that glitters is then going to go on the Bogles. We split our threats, Ancestral Mask on one, all that glitters on the other. They're not going to be able to just block one and keep chumping. The thing is, I don't really have a trample effect right now because that got countered. So I figured, okay, split them out. They have to play multiple creatures to block me out here. And that's what I'm going to try and do. They have the Prismatic Strands. Unfortunately, I have green creatures that are going to gain a little bit of life, but eventually they can't just keep tapping out into it. I have 3 different threats with all that glitters, Ethereal Mask, Ancestral Mask effects, whatever it might be. I have it all. They have to keep having answers. They don't see the point of keeping to tap out for the Prismatic Strands. And I win this game. Now, Coggates can get tricky, especially if you have to mulligan 2 times. We have mulled a 5. We don't really have a great hand here. We have the Ash Barrens to find white, which is fine. We have a Bogles too. We're finding some lands, which is good. We're going to be able to deck thin with the Ash Barrens, play our Scout, do all that good stuff. Now on their side, they're already getting their mana up there. They have the blues. They have the Sacred Cat. Unfortunately, they are building a lot better than us. And we're not drawing great. We're drawing lands. Now, I play on my other green to play the Scout and then search for a plains. Hopefully I can find some type of, all that glitters effect. That would be fantastic, but we'll see how that luck ends up. Rancor is going to really do the trick here against a deck full of X1s. Now, fortunately enough, they don't have the Basilisk Gate, which is great. They can't pose a threat just yet. On my turn, honestly, it's going to be a land Rancor and hope for something, because at some point they're going to get down some type of protection creature, protection from monocolored specifically, and it's going to get a little tricky from there. Now, I'm going to attack in with both. I know the Sacred Cat can block, but at least I get back the Rancor, and I can force out a Prismatic Strands early, which is great. If this is the type of combat that they want to get involved with, that's fine. If one of my lands gets destroyed, I'm gonna get a plains just in case, but that's fine. Their cat still lives and I still force it out, but I still have my Rancor. I play the land, I put the Rancor onto my creature, and you know what, I'm being a little mana efficient. Now at this point, again, I'm hoping to just draw well. This deck doesn't really top deck that well, so the hopes are dashing, and with the land drawn there, Basilisk Gate on their side with 3 cards, I decided to concede. We just got to go to the next game and understand when the resources are too and far in between. Can I do it in game 3? I mean, the question is, I'm mulled a 5 again, but I find the Silhana Ledgewalker, which is great. If they play a Sacred Cat early, I can just get that out there. I managed to play a land and, find my other planes with the Ash Barrens, which is great. I have the Walker, I have the All That Glitters and the Cartouche to provide a little bit of vigilance on one side, first strike on the other. I play out my Ledgewalker. I'm good. I got my creatures out. What can go wrong at this point? They get the gate out early. They have the Modern Age, so eventually they're going to have a flying 2/3 blocker. But I get to do some fun things as well. Now I play the Cartouche just to get the creature out, just to have some variance. So remember how I was splitting my threats? I think that's the way we want to play this, and that's how I'm going to choose to make that path. That way, if I find another white source, I can All That Glitters one creature and Ethereal Armor the other creature, and that way they have to contend with 2 threats in 2 different ways. One is green, one is white, and that way we're also spreading out some of the protection that they have. Now they're going to Lorien, they're going to Preordain, they're going to play their Sacred Cat out from what they discarded with the Modern Age, and that's fine. They're getting stuff out on the battlefield. Now unfortunately I'm not able to spread things out enough, so I'm like, okay, let me just get in the air. They can block the warrior if they want, but I'm getting some free damage in through the air. I might as well make that super powerful and just keep going. Now at this point they're going to start holding up some mana. They're on that, about to get on that 3rd trigger of the Modern Age. Things are looking a little tricky, and this is where I think All That Glitters has that problem. Now it's a brewer's paradise because of the artifact clause, but I don't gain a combat trick. That flying creature is going to get real problematic, especially if they're going to start casting Prismatic Strands. So I'm going to tutor for a land, deck thing a little bit. I got 2 white sources, and now I can put one on one creature, then put the other on the other creature. Maybe I kind of oriented this. Maybe I should have just pointed the first one at the warrior token and baited that counterspell out early, because I think just dodging the Prismatic Strands probably was the better play. They're at 5. They can afford to be here considering they have Lifelinkers and Basilisk Gates to activate. Now at this point I'm realizing I might be losing control of the game. They have the Basilisk. They are not doing anything on their turn. I'm going to All That Glitters to separate my threats. but it's going to get a little tricky here. They can't activate the Basilisk Gates on the creatures, but they can Prismatic Strands and make favorable blocks here. Now, fortunately enough, I'm going to be able to kill one of the creatures. They gain 1 life, and I unfortunately don't have any trample or evasion. That's, again, I'm highlighting again why I think all that glitters is that problematic. Now, Guardian of the Guild Pact, that is kind of sealing the game there. I'm at 20. They have Basilisk Gate. Things are getting a little problematic. They have Prismatic Strands in the graveyard. How do I play this? Commune with Spirits, unfortunately, just gives me a land. I don't have a combat trick with it. I was hoping to maybe get one and put it on the warrior token. That way they have to deal with it in the air, and they have to deal with me on the ground, and that Guardian of the Guild Pact isn't as powerful as it needs to be. Now, they're going to gain a ton of life off of this Sacred Cat. Unfortunately, though, it's not going to be enough because I'm going to get the Armadillo Cloak. Honestly, I might have just put it on the warrior token. Maybe that would have done something, but regardless, it wouldn't have been enough damage anyway because I'm at 14. They're at 15 life. They play the protection spell, and they're just going to swing back at me with the Guardian. We're seeing the math here, right? Like, unfortunately, I thought they were at 10. I don't know how I miscounted. I was like, I would have just conceded here, honestly. But they're going to activate both Basilisk Gates that they have. They play another gate, and they're just going to give it plus 12, and I lose the game. Now, 1-1 isn't that bad. I do have to mulligan to 5 again, but it's fine. Armadillo Cloak, Commune to find a 3rd land. I'm good. Vault of Whispers, probably Affinity, right? Now, we're going to play the Slippery Bogle, and that's fine. They have a board wipe effect maybe in the main board, but they play the Scrapwork Mutt, and they play Fiery Temper. I'm like, okay, it's actually Rakdos Burn. So that's actually a lot better because I have the Armadillo Cloak, and I decide to find, well, the the Ethereal Armor, because I figured I could find another land anyway. This might have been a mistake because I do want to confirm that life gain early as soon as possible, but regardless, I was never punished. I find the plains, I play the Ethereal Armor, I look for another land, and I'm just going to go to attacking. I need to get some damage out there because now at this point, once I equip the Armadillo Cloak on this sucker, I win. Doesn't matter how many kitchen inks you get out there, as long as I can create something massive, I'm gaining life off of it. It doesn't matter because that life gain is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm only at 12, which is fantastic. You play the Armadillo Cloak on it, first strike, trample, lifelink. Come on, I'm back up at 17. Fantastic. I mean, next turn you play the Ancestral Mask and they're not doing anything. They're discarding all these cards. They're playing another Kitchen Imp. Sure, you have 6 damage on the board. I go down to 11. Kitchen Imp is a fantastic card, by the way. But regardless, are we going to forget about the fact that they completely blanked a Fiery Temper in the beginning? I don't think my opponent's doing that well. They play the Deadly Dispute, and look, let's just go to game 2. Let's just go to game 2. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I bring in the Freewind Falconers and some Spirit Links, you know, the age-old Bogles sideboarding. I keep a 1-lander because I have the Abundant Growth. I have the Gladecover Scout. So if I can't play the Freewind, at least I have like Rancor, Ethereal Armor. I can do that, and then eventually I find another land and I can escape with that. So I play the Ash Barrens. I get another Plains because the Force itself can tap for other colors, so I can play the Scout and hopefully work that way. I ended up trading because I didn't want these creatures staying on the battlefield. Freewind Falcon's going to hopefully do a lot for me anyway. They managed to get out a Kitchen Imp with the Lightning Bolt. They get really aggressive. They got me at 16 already, and I can't block that. That's the unfortunate thing. Protection from red only. Now I play the Rancor, play the Ethereal Armor. They make me sack, which is unfortunate. I completely forgot that this deck does play sack effects. It's one of the powers of playing black. Now I'm going to play the other Slippery Bogle. Hopefully not be too late in what they're doing, but they have an insane board. I'm at 10. They're going to deal 4 to me. I'm down to 6. They then have 5 on their turn, and it's going to get real dicey here. I'm not drawing any lands. I'm hoping to maybe play out a Bogles and get an Armadillo Cloak on it, but I can't find another land for it at all. So what am I supposed to do? I'm hoping, you know what, they have 5 damage. Maybe they have 3 lands in hand. So I had another one. They Lightning Bolt me. Let's just go to game 3. I think this matchup is in our favor, honestly. So let's prove that the matchup is in our favor. I managed to actually keep a 7, which is a rare thing I find when I'm playing Bogles. At least you play the Gladecover Scout, Utopia Sprawl, a little bit of draw, Ethereal Armor, you get an aggressive threat. Now I'm going to play the Abundant Growth on the Plains itself just to get a little bit of card draw. Play the Utopia Sprawl, just develop a little bit, right? They probably don't want to edict me this early. They want to develop their board too, which is great. I'm going to tutor. I'm going to get some Plains out there. I'm going to play the Gladecover Spout, Ethereal Armor, double it up. I got a 9/9 with first strike. Opponent, it's not looking good for you. And folks out there watching right now, it's about to end right now. I'm going to cast this one card. GG's, because our opponent does not know what to do in spite of this. I play this, they draw nothing. The life gain is just too much. See, Bogles isn't that bad. It's a little brain dead, but hey, I keep this hand and it's a little questionable. I'll take all the bad things coming my way for keeping a hand like this, but I think it's fine. I draw the Ancestral Mask, right? I got the Rancor. I find another land. I deck thin. I'm good. I play the third land. I get the Ancestral Mask on it too. Unfortunately, they have the Destroy Evil Mainboard. Is that a normal thing now? I guess. I mean, it deals with big threats, so I can't blame them on the front side. Now, they managed to tap out. I play the Armadillo Cloak. They have an Augur Bolus that searches for some good stuff as well. But I have a 5/3 with Trample and Lifelink. I can't be that bad. They're at 9. I'm at 25. Come on, you can't complain about things like this. But they have Ephemerate plus Counterspell mana. So I'm going to play the other Scout. I'm going to be a little careful here. And I think about this. Where do I put the Armadillo Cloak? And I want to, again, spread out my threats. It seems to be working for me in this league. And it seems to be providing good results. So I'm now going to go in for the swing. I think about it. Think about what could they have? Could they block something? Could they play another Destroy Evil? I ultimately think, whatever, I have another threat. I can just attack in. I'll still be fine. And they may do their tricky shenanigans with their Augur Bolus, but ultimately they trade out with one of my creatures if they end up doing that. That's perfectly fine. Now the Armadillo Cloak is going to gain me some life as well. They're at 4. I'm going to go to 30. Come on. It's working out. It's working out, right? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Famous last words, as always, but they have the mana they need to have a counterspell, to ephemerate, to blink, but they're not doing any of that. So it could just be a massive bluff, or they didn't see anything that they wanted. Now they're going to ephemerate on main phase, which is great. They find a brainstorm. They're going to use the brainstorm. They go to Augur again. And at this point, the back's against the wall. They have to double block here, right? Even though I have a land, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to show them that I have a land. I'm going to make them think, but they have to double block. They're at 2. I'm going to gain a bunch of life. I'm at 38. What are they going to do from here? The Ephemerate just fades away. Preordain, brainstorm, nothing. Let's go to game 2. I always find it a little weird in terms of how to sideboard against this deck, but regardless, mulligan, they play a tap land, mulligan 1, so I managed to find some creatures, some enchantments. Hopefully I can get under a counterspell. It's not looking good though. They ramped out. They have way more mana than me. I'm at 2 still. I'm hoping to catch up. I play another threat. Unfortunately here though, I might have played into something a little bit unfortunate you're going to see in a sec. I play the Armadillo Cloak. They play the board wipe. That's not looking good. I go to draw, I don't find another Bogles, and I think, okay, look, let's not do this against a deck untapping with 5 cards and counter spells. Let's go to game 3. Well, yes, I would love to play first in game 3. Now, I have to mulligan again. I would like to keep as many resources as possible, but I have a Gladecover Scout. It's not bad. I have an Armadillo Cloak too. I have a Commune. So I decide to Commune. I find a Rancor, which is great. Play land, play that, blah, blah, blah. I probably should have just gone for the Armadillo Cloak, honestly, just try and get that out there while they're ramping. That was probably the big mistake, but I was never punished. I find the plains, I play that. I got a 5/3 with Trample, Hexproof, and Lifelink. Well, not exactly Lifelink, but they managed to stop that before I can even complete what I'm saying with the Dawnbringer Cleric. I get the Cartouche on there as well, so first strike Trample, I can beat this in combat. I play another, have another blocker as well, but I'm going to keep up the Silhana in case they have that board wipe. This can still die to that board wipe, so I have to be careful there. And I'm gonna go into combat. I'm gonna swing in. That's fine. The problem is, do they have the Ephemerate to make the trick happen? Because it's the enchantment that's doing that, and they unfortunately do. They have that. They can trade out with me if they want. I have the Rancor. That's fine. But as long as I have the Silhana, I can play that out, because now they have to have a flyer to block that. They're going to hard cast Lorien, giving them 3 cards, which is unfortunate. I do not have the threats I need to close this game out, but I mean, I'm doing 5 damage, or 6 damage, I should say. Unfortunately, they're going to untap with more than enough cards to really stop me here. Now, the Rancors are going to go back to my hand. They're going to make me cast out mana, right? Because they can counter it and stuff. Now, I'm going to try and bait the counterspell, play the Rancor again on the other threat. They're going to Breath Weapon, which is unfortunate, and I got to concede there. There's nothing I could have done there. They have the board wipes they need, and it's fine. Let's go to game 5 and get that 3-2. As I mentioned, we're fighting for this 3-2. We mulligan once, but we have the Gladecover Scout, we have the Silhana and Ancestral Mask. We're playing up against Burn. Now, favorite matchup in my opinion, but they can run away with it. So Cartouche of Solidarity, let's get aggressive on their side. We have the Warrior token to chump block anything that we need. I don't want them going way too crazy. And on my turn, I'm going to on top and play Ancestral Mask anyway. So I can get aggressive as well. Attack in, first strike, hexproof, everything. I'm going to be able to deal with them very easily, but they do have 3 creatures out. That is kind of tricky. They're going to play an Implement, kind of increase the power of what they have, Chain Lightning as well. it's not looking like that good, honestly. I'm taking so much damage there. I don't manage to find a lifelinker, which is really unfortunate here. If I managed to find some type of lifelink enchantment there, I would have been able to equip it, gain a bunch of life, and probably survive this turn. Unfortunately, I managed to keep up blockers on my side, but they have Xaxes. They managed to find the Xaxes with the Fire Blast. I got to commend them for it. Fire Blast in 2023 Pauper, all here for it. Let's go to game 2. Going into game 2, I managed to keep a 7. Not bad. Gladecover Scout, Freewind Falcon, all that glitters. We get to show off the good stuff. We play the Freewind, they play a Combust. No creatures is great, and they managed to whiff a Reckless as well off the Experimental. That's fantastic. We put on all that glitters on our Freewind. We play an Abundant Growth. We attack in for 4. We're feeling pretty good. The Freewind Falcon is going to do so much for us. Even though we take a Gal Blast and a Lava Spike and we're taking a bunch of damage, it's fine. We have the Armadillo Cloak on our side. That Voldaren Epicure is not blocking. We managed to gain 6 life. We undo so much of what they did, and that's why they can see they can't contend with that. How do they beat that in the air? So we managed to force the game 3, and we don't have to mulligan again, which is great. We have the All That Glitters. We have the Armadillo Cloak. I just need to find a land. Now I'm going to look for that land, which is fine. I have the Utopia Sprawl. I recognize the win condition. They play 3 Voldaren Epicures, and I'm off to the races. I play my Ethereal Armor and my Gladecover Scout. The whole reason I didn't do it initially is in case they had like a board wipe that dealt with my 1/1s. I didn't want to deal with any of that, but on my turn, I play the Armadillo Cloak. They concede. A little bit of patience goes a long way. Lifelink is fine. You just need a draw. Well, GG's. The 3-2 is there. Great Pauper League, and all that glitters. Isn't that bad?